Hi. So we're not going to do our normal intro because our normal intro is Alyssa saying, I'm Alyssa and I'm Mike. I don't know. Should we start off with you saying who you are, or should I just introduce you? This is not Alyssa that you're seeing on your screen next to me. This is,
It
see,
is not Alyssa, but it is still the A&M podcast.
yeah, this is presented by the A&M Podcast. This is Marvel Mondays. This is we're now doing 3 episodes a week. And Alyssa was invited to be on this one, but she was like, "Nah, I'm not interested." So we have a fill-in. This is Brandon, who we've spoken about on the podcast, but who is appearing on the podcast for the first time. So welcome, Brandon. And so for a long time, we've been talking about, between the two of us, talking about, all things Marvel related, right? Because we're kind of both pretty big, Marvel fans. And there's a lot going on in that like Marvel realm right now, I think. That it's the right time, I think, right? It's ramping up for a lot of good things.
Take the phone calls to the podcast at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of us just talking to each other over the phone, we decided we'd share it with everybody else and get everybody else's kind of feedback on what we think. Because there's so many. I think one of the funny things right now with everything like MCU related, is there's so many theories out there, on like what's going to happen, like, and today we were going to start off this week by talking a little bit about, Daredevil Born Again season 2, which is streaming right now on Disney Plus. And how that show is going to tie into some other things that are coming up, like the Daredevil, one shot, I think it's
Punisher.
called
Punisher one
or
shot.
Punisher, yeah, Punisher one shot. And then which both of those then are supposedly anyway. Well, we know Punisher is, but also Daredevil is supposedly also kind of feeding into Spiderman Brand New Day. So, so what did you think? I mean, a little bit of I guess a recap on Daredevil Born Again season 2 is. They brought back most of the characters from last season. Actually, Foggy was in this season as well, but only via flashbacks.
Do you remember when that was first announced that he was going to be in season 2? People were coming with all those theories that he was going to be revived and
like well, because there were a lot
throwback scenes.
Yeah, there were a lot of. I guess there were some comic book like storylines where this kind of thing happened, and he wasn't really killed. He was actually in hiding, and so that was a whole plan. So it doesn't look like, so there were people thinking that's what that was going to be. But they also just this past week now brought in one of the Defenders characters, which I don't know. Have you watched any of the old Netflix like Marvel stuff?
Not more than clips. Quick scenes on Instagram or YouTube, enough to know that was Jessica Jones, but not enough to know the character that she's fully playing,
See, for me, after Endgame, when there was kind of a long like lapse in Marvel stuff, I started watching those shows. Just to kind of, to get a feel of like some Marvel stuff that I hadn't seen before, because I didn't watch them when they were on Netflix, but because, we have Disney Plus, all of that content's on there. So I did watch Daredevil, all the seasons of Daredevil. I did watch the seasons of The Punisher, and I still telling you, you gotta at least watch season 1 of The Punisher before the one shot comes out, so you can get that introduction to the character, because John Barenthal in that character, like he's great. He's really good in that role. And then I also watched what was the other one? Iron Fist, which was the least liked, I guess, of those Netflix shows. I thought it was good. That only had 2 seasons. And then also the Defenders series, which was the compilation of Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Iron Fist. Oddly enough, Punisher wasn't in that one, but they introduced the Punisher in the Daredevil series, so that was kind of interesting to me. But I guess I don't know that much about the comic books related to the Defenders, so maybe He wasn't
you
a
ever
character
watch
in that.
the Luke Cage series? Did you get to that?
You know
one?
what? I tried to.
I started.
I heard it was too, and I started watching it, and I watched a few episodes of it, and I for whatever reason it just didn't. The same with Jessica Jones. Honestly, I watched a few episodes of that, and it just didn't catch me for whatever reason. But now I'd like to go back and watch both of those. Again. So yeah, but I think it was interesting that they brought back that character this week, because they had kind of teased that in the trailer for season 2, and then we're all the way to like week 6 before they actually had the character.
So kind of rumors that I've been hearing is that they're going to try to bring the Defenders back in a sense.
Yep.
I don't know that it'll be like a true series that they do, but I'm wondering if they're going to do maybe a movie for the Defenders.
Yeah, maybe.
They've been kind of straying away from doing movies like that, though. I think they kind of learned their lesson when they were doing too much.
Right.
And people started to lose interest. So I'm wondering if maybe they wouldn't do a full movie, maybe just a Disney Plus special or something like that.
Kind of like the Punisher one that they're doing.
Yeah. But I'm wondering if they're kind of setting the stage for that by having, 3 out of the 5 for the Defenders come back?
Well, four, right? There were only 4, because it was Daredevil. It was Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. I mean, there were other characters from those series.
So Punisher wasn't in the Defenders?
No, he wasn't in that series.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he was off. I guess that took place, I think, during the same time that the Punisher series was going on, which was like a separate kind of storyline. So maybe that's why they didn't include that character. The funny thing to me was those Netflix Marvel series. They had a really strong following when they were on Netflix, and when they were bringing this Daredevil series back for the Daredevil Born Again. I don't know if you've read some of the stuff, but they were like originally they were going to have somebody else play Vanessa. They were gonna. I think they weren't going to have Karen or Foggy in it at all, or they were going to recast those, or something like that. And then apparently, like with all the things kind of that were going on with Marvel, I think with the what's gone on with the multiverse stuff, how some of it wasn't very well received. I think they went back and kind of changed their mind on some of those decisions, and that's why they did bring those original Daredevil series characters back, which I thought was a good decision, because the tie-in has been good.
I think they switched the tone too, even because remember when Daredevil was showing up in She-Hulk.
Yeah.
And he was more, and I guess that series was more of like a less serious tone anyway.
Yeah.
But they were leaning in heavy to him being like more comedy. And now this series gets back to that more serious, like darker tone. Yeah,
the darker tone. Yeah. And so the things that I've read, because now I don't think we're going to not talk about the whole series so far, because we're just starting this and we're at week 6. That would be a very long episode. But we did already talk about, Jessica Jones coming back. Jessica Jones, they showed that she has a daughter with Luke Cage, I guess. So that's kind of interesting. And then the other thing that happened this week is, Vanessa died. And now, Fisk is, and I think you and I talked about this, how like that poor doctor, like he didn't do anything.
We've said this before about and I think Marvel has always done really well at making their villains and making their bad guys more complex than just he's a bad guy.
Right.
Like they did that with Thanos, where like there was the whole internet thing of Thanos was right, there's too many people.
Right.
They've done it in the past, especially good with Spider-Man villains, I think, where it's like he could be a good guy, he could be a bad guy, but it's circumstance that pushed him to be a bad guy. And you almost feel sympathy for them, right?
Yeah. Vulture. I mean, look at the whole story of No Way Home. is about him basically saving all those people from being villains. Yeah.
Yeah, or even a guy like Vulture, or in No Way Home, where Andrew Garfield Spider-Man says, "What was it? Max is such a good guy before he fell into a vat of electric eels."
Yeah, yeah,
and it kind of like always done it where it's more dimensional than just they're bad because they're bad.
yeah,
Fisk is just bad because he's bad. That
yeah,
when you start to
yeah,
feel a little sympathy for the fact that his wife was killed,
yeah,
then he goes and kills the doctor, and you're just
yeah,
like, yep, nope, and no
yeah.
sympathy. Hate
Well,
the guy still.
see, even Fisk though, and this is why you got to go back and watch the original series, is they kind of tell you why Fisk is the way that he is. He had in that series they show he had like an overbearing father, abusive to his mother, all that. And he was like 12 or 13 years old, and the dad, is just abusing him, abusing the mother. And where he turns, I guess, to a villain at that point is he kills his father with a hammer. Like he bludgeons his father to death with a hammer after his dad is abusing his mom. So even there, and I think like Fisk is, he's just a terrible guy. The actor who plays him though does an amazing job playing him, but he's now he's just a terrible guy, but they at least explain to you why he's a terrible guy. And I think like in some other things they just they make the character they're just bad, and they don't explain like, yeah, but nobody starts off, it's like you said about Thanos, that line that line in is it in Endgame where I think it's Rhodey says, why don't we just go find baby Thanos? And and that's the thing, it's like probably baby Thanos was not already evil, right?
Yeah.
I gotta take a drink.
Yeah, I think, but I think that like that scene alone, when he kills the doctor, that kind of solidified that like, yeah, he's not. There's no redeemable qualities of him at this point, right?
Exactly.
But now that Daniel, that I think has been like, sorry, Thor's bugging me over here.
Yeah, just side note here, just to tell how big of a Marvel fan Brandon is. His dog's name is Thor, his cat's name is Loki, and the other dog's name is Sylvie. So Marvel ties everywhere.
But yeah, I think that Daniel that he has working for him, I think that you're seeing that with him now, where he's starting to see that side. And he's somebody that you're starting to see the sort of like sympathizing for. Right.
Yeah, because I thought was it this week's episode where, no, I think it was the previous week's episode where it looked like he was being taken out to be killed out in the woods.
Yeah.
And that wasn't what it was.
Yeah.
Because they thought the leak came from him. And yeah, I think I'm interested to see where they're going to go with that character.
Yeah.
And then I've heard some stuff that, because they're already filming season 3, and I've heard some stuff from that they are saying that all of those Defender characters, including Luke Cage and Iron Fist, are going to show up in this. Which I'm interested in the Iron Fist thing because
this season,
in season 3,
season 3, okay.
yeah. Although there was the set photo leak, which I don't know if that was from season 3 or season 2. I think it was supposed to be from the end of season 2. You heard about that leak, right? That the actor who plays Luke Cage posted something on Instagram of the character, or the actor who plays Daredevil in a prison suit, an orange prison jumpsuit. And I think it was him, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage, and they're all in a prison.
Maybe that was a scene that was cut from, or is yet to appear.
Well, that's what I've heard, is that it's a scene from the end of this season. So they're making it as if Daredevil's going to end up in prison at the end of this, and they said how interestingly it looks very similar to the prison that we see in the Spider-Man Brand New Day trailer, where he's fighting against the Hand. And the interesting part of that is the Defenders series, the Netflix Defenders series, they were the main. The Hand was the main villain in that. That organization was. So, maybe
more ties there. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one of the theories out there anyway about that.
Yeah. So, how it ended, where there was that scene where Matt's saying to Fisk, like, if you leave New York, I'll leave New York. How do you think that's going to end up going based off of that clip from the Brand New Day trailer where he was receiving the key to the city? How do you think that ends up going?
Yeah, that's a good question, because they have said that, like, clearly he's getting the key to the city from, and I forget the character's name, but she's like the whatever the assistant mayor would be, and so she's the one giving the key to the city to Spider-Man, which tells you that two things. Well, first of all, clearly Fisk isn't still the mayor, because Fisk, who's got this very anti-vigilante, mindset, would not be giving the key to the city to a vigilante or somebody who could be labeled as a vigilante.
Certainly not while they're in their vigilante outfit.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it means that definitely by the end of the season, he's not going to be mayor. But whether that means he leaves the city or not, it kind of makes you question the whole thing of Daredevil being in jail, because if that's the agreement, they should just both no longer be in New York. So I think it's going to be something else. I don't know what. I'm anxious to see, because I think it's going to be, it's kind of like them killing Vanessa off was kind of shocking. That was a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah. So that scene at the end then, with where I forget his name, but he's like basically the head of the task force.
Oh,
the head guy, and he finds Karen.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if part of that is it's a play of, like, Fisk's partner got killed. So are they trying to trick you into thinking that his partner is going to be killed? Or
maybe
is it that they're actually going to, and that's going to be what sets Matt off?
Right.
To
turns him darker.
Fully go at them? Yeah. Now we lost Foggy and Karen.
Yeah, that could. I didn't even think of that. That's a huge possibility, especially when you think of the interaction between the two of them. Where she's arguing with him about leaving Bullseye. She wanted to kill Bullseye, and he wouldn't let her. It kind of makes you think, like, maybe would they do that? That's a good question. That's a good question. I also. The whole turn with that Bullseye character, I think, is interesting too. How they're kind of, I don't think they're trying to, like, I don't know, restore, his image or anything like that. Cause I think that's kind of tough to do after you kill, like, one of the more liked good guys off of it. But I always think that's interesting when they try to kind of rehabilitate a character like that, in some vein.
Yep.
It's kind of like with, if you think about it, it's kind of like Daredevil, or not Daredevil. I keep saying that. It's kind of like Punisher, because the Punisher in the original Daredevil series, he's basically taken out gangs in New York that were in some way related to, like, the murder of his family. Because his family, and again, you got to go back and watch season 1. But that's who he's killing in that season. And of course, Daredevil being who he is, like, that doesn't want to allow that, so that's kind of, it's kind of a similar, like, storyline in a way, except that, of course, Bullseye is going around just killing, like, at least initially he's just killing, like, whoever Fisk tells him to, because he's working for Fisk at the beginning of it.
No, when they redeemed another character, though, when you were saying that, what made me what I thought of was what they did with, it was quick, right? Because it was in the same movie, but Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in Age of Ultron, they kind of did
Oh,
that,
right.
where it
Right.
was
Yeah,
bad
they were on
guy,
the wrong side.
yeah, joined back.
Right.
They didn't
Right.
kill anybody,
Right.
so
Or like the ultimate one is like Winter Soldier, you know.
sure, yeah,
Like that was a pretty big turnaround.
yeah.
Um
I don't think there's been a character though that has like done enough damage that then they fully redeem. I guess Winter
right.
Soldier would be the closest, right? Because he was the sort of main villain.
Yeah. And then
Uh,
there was what they did with what was his name? Oh, the from Civil War. Why can I not think of his name?
oh, Zemo.
Zemo, yeah. You know, they kind of tried to rehab him
Mm,
in the Falcon and Winter Soldier
yeah,
series. You know, they
yeah,
kind of did, but not really, but kind of did. So yeah, I
yeah.
always think it's funny
They
when they
made you
do.
not hate him completely
Yeah,
anymore,
yeah, yeah.
but he was
But
never really truly like hated
right,
before.
yeah,
Like he was just, you
yeah,
know, the guy trying to pull the strings.
right, right, yeah, and but it does go back to what you said before about the kind of the depth of the villains in the MCU and how there's more to them than they're just a bad guy, you know.
Hmm.
Um, and there was something else I was just reading here. Sorry, I had some notes for tonight's episode. Um, Devil is Selbach, the D theory is one of them. Heavy rumors that Matt Murdock will end the season behind bars. That goes back to what we were talking about.
Hmm.
And then there
Hmm.
was also a leak from season 3 filming that showed Fisk with a white beard and kind of looking almost like homeless, for lack
Hmm.
of a better word.
Hmm.
So I don't know where he's going to end the season. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know that that's the state they're going to show him in at the end of this season, but maybe however he
Yeah,
ends this season, will lead into that.
yeah,
So
yeah. I mean, based off the Brand New Day trailer and the note that they said um, in the episode 6, they'd said he was like not going to run for re-election. He's going to be
right,
one term.
right,
So maybe that's how it ends. I would have to check when this is supposed to take place compared to when Brand New Day is supposed to take place.
right,
To see does it line up that like Fisk willingly just leaves office, or is
right,
it that again something happens at the end
right,
that forces it?
right. I wanted to mention something about that too. I'm glad you mentioned that. So do you think though the thing with that Daniel with them saying about that he wasn't going to run for re-election, where they revealed that was with that Daniel talking to that
Hmm.
BB, and but I took that as the test.
Seeing if
You
she'd
know, they
report
talked
it,
about
or if it would
the
come up
test of him.
on that because they showed her that she was the like
Yeah, the one in
fake
the Fisk
Fisk.
mask. Yeah,
Yeah, to see if
yeah,
it would show up there or anything.
yeah, yeah. So that's yeah, I took that as maybe that was part of that, and then if it shows up, they'll know that that's the person who's
Yeah,
leaking it or something like that. Um,
yeah,
but we'll see. Maybe that'll play out next week. Yeah, that fight scene between Daredevil and Fisk at the end of last week was something else. So
yeah,
that was
yeah.
a really good one. Um,
Yeah, the past couple episodes have had really good fight scenes
yeah,
in them.
yeah, yeah, definitely. I think my favorite one so far was the scene with Bullseye in the diner when
Hmm.
he gets. Did he get caught? No, he didn't get caught. But when he kind of revealed himself
Hmm.
uh, with that
Oh yeah, or
anti-vigilante task force guys,
hmm
that was that was something else.
that was the one
That
with the
was
little "You're welcome" knife, right?
yeah. No, no, no,
Okay.
no. That was the earlier. This was the one where he goes in the diner and he orders a milkshake, I think, and then and then he calls the like task force hotline and says that he sees Frank Castle in the diner, and so the task force shows up to thinking they're going to take out Punisher, and he's there and he takes out all of the anti-vigilante task force guys. Yeah. So yeah, but I'm excited to see what happens in the rest of that that season, and then right after that, right, we get I think is it the same day that the final episode of season 2 comes out that we get the Punisher one shot?
That's what you said earlier, yeah. And I know it drops mid-May.
I think it's May. I thought it was May 12th because I said I'm going to be on a boat.
That might be right.
Yeah, I think it's May 12th. And that would actually make sense because we did say there's like 2 more weeks of Daredevil.
Is May 12th.
Yeah. So you got 2 weeks to at least watch season 1. Season 2, I mean, watch it if you have the time, but I know you're a busy guy just like me, so watching 2 entire seasons of a series is a lot. But if you can get season 1, it just gives you so much of who the character is, and of course then you get to see. It's another one of these things where there's so many actors in the MCU that have played multiple characters, and it's one of those because the guy who plays Micro in that is the guy who plays the Thing.
I was gonna say. I think I heard before that the Thing was in there. Different universe though, right?
Different universe.
838.
Yeah, 838 instead of 616. So so I'm anxious to see that when that comes out and see what's. And then there's some. Have you seen the leaked photos? I don't know if it's from that though, or if it's from Spider-Man, but it's with John Barenthal, his Punisher, and then that Sadie Sink character who everybody thinks is Jean Grey, but this picture that came out, it labeled it as Frank Castle and Rachel. A character called Rachel. Well, that's interesting because in season 2 of the Punisher series from Netflix, there was a character that was like a young, I don't even think they said how old she was. She claimed to be 16 at one point, but she was kind of, a swindler type, character. And one of the names she went by was Rachel. So I'm like, wait, are they saying this is that character, which would make no sense for that character to then be, in Spider-Man?
Yeah, I don't think they would do that I don't think they would waste a known actress. It's kind of like when Spider-Man Homecoming came out, and you knew that Zendaya was in it.
Right.
But you knew that they weren't just going to have that be some random classmate. Theaters, you knew that it was going to be, if not Mary Jane, it was going to be Michelle Jones.
Right. Right. Which is, Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
but they also said that she was showing that Sadie Sink was showing up in Secret Wars, that she was filming that.
Right. Which
so I think that even builds more credence to that she's playing Jean Grey.
Yeah, and I've been seeing some crazy stuff about because that trailer that was shown at CinemaCon hasn't come out yet. At first I heard, it's going to be out soon. Then I heard something that said it might be out during the NBA Finals. They might release it during the NBA Finals, like on TV. But I've heard some stuff from that shows like some crazy multiverse stuff as far as like the characters that are showing up in the same scene. So that movie's going to be like wild if it's anything like it seems like it's going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. You heard like.
I heard that Doom doesn't remove his. I heard they were saying that originally people were reporting it was Doom without his mask, and then a bunch of reports said that no, Doom never removes his mask throughout the trailer.
Throughout the trailer.
But you hear him speaking.
Yeah.
And then, I heard things that were saying the entire movie he's not removing his mask.
Yeah. I heard that.
Cool for the character, but.
Yeah. I heard that like maybe in the post-credit scene is where you see the mask come off, which is kind of funny because it's not like it's going to be a shocker to anybody. Everybody knows. So it's, it's just interesting. I did hear some things recently that talked about, because now they're talking about with the re-release of Endgame in, I think it's September, and they've added some scenes to that. And some people have said, like, well, there's scenes that were originally shot but weren't included, but that will have kind of a tie-in. I think one of them was like, was it Doctor Strange and somebody else talking at Tony's funeral? Oh, I don't know. Now I'm drawing a complete blank on who they said it was, but talking at Tony's funeral. And then the one other thing pointed out that, like, you don't see a grave. They never show a gravestone with, Tony. You only see the first arc reactor, floating there on that lake. So there's one thing that suggests that that Pepper may have had them keep Tony's body, and they had it in some kind of stasis, and that might somehow show up, and that might be how they explain that. Oh, Doctor Doom, he looks just like Tony Stark, or something like that. So it's going to be interesting. I'm assuming we're going to go to see the re-release just for that. I also think that, by the way, that's genius marketing on Marvel's part, because you're putting out a movie that's, I don't know how many years old now, and you're going to get people there,
Yeah, and it'll end up being all for nothing, because it'll be extra scenes that don't even really tie into Doomsday at the end of it.
It'll be like the post-credit scene in what was it, Spider-Man No Way Home?
No,
or Homecoming. Yeah, that was in
where
Homecoming. Yeah, with Captain America. Yeah, that might have been the best one that they did. Yeah. But I also read some stuff today, and this isn't related to any of what we're talking about. Maybe we should save it for a future episode, but I'll just mention it, about Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire showing up in the next Across the Spider-Verse movie. So that'll be, I mean, they kind of did in the last one, but only it was like scenes from their movies, that showed up. The actual characters showing up in there. So that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
All right. You got anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, hey, let us know, what you thought of this one. Let us know if there's like something else you'd like us to talk about. I think we're just kind of figuring this out, because it's a little different than the other episodes that we do during the week. But so give us a little bit to work out all the kinks in how we do this. Maybe we'll change our kind of cadence a little bit or something. But let us know what you think. Let us know if this is stuff you're interested in. That. And please, everyone, welcome Brandon as part of he's actually been a part of the scene, kind of behind the scenes, but now he's a part of the official A&M podcast team. We may have to change it to the A&M podcast team, make it the BAM podcast.
Yeah, there you go. That's better than calling this one the B&M.
Yeah, the B&M won't work, because people will think it's about something else.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys.
Thanks, everyone.